Hey everyone, I've been thinking about how to describe this category of fragrances because there are some adjacent categories that I want to do separate videos on. So, the 10 that I have to talk with you about today, you know, I love a good solid 10 as the number for videos. They are airy and bright and fresh smelling, but not necessarily in the sort of clean and fresh category or clean and musky. Perhaps some of these fragrances kind of touch into those territories, but I find those other categories to be separate and distinct, and I'd like to do different videos on like smelling clean, like soapy clean versus airy, fresh clean, which is perhaps what these are. Does that make sense? So, not like a laundry vibe to any of these, I don't think. I don't think. Okay, let's get into it. Let me start off with a fragrance that's actually an honorable mention, only because I feel like I'm still getting to know this one, and there are aspects about it that I really like. And then there are parts about it where I'm like, I just don't know if we can vibe, but I keep coming back to it. So I wonder if it's going to end up being a very strong like or a love at some point. And I know that some of you love it. So just because something isn't like my number one doesn't mean I can't recommend for someone out there to try out L'Original from Moroccan Oil. I ended up getting a travel spray a while back in preparation to film. See, it smells so good out of the nozzle. In preparation to film that Sephora recommendations video. By the way, thank you to everyone that watched that video and got engaged and enjoyed the Sephora sale with me. Y'all, I done ordered like 7, 8 boxes or something crazy from that sale. Maybe it was more like 6, but it felt like 12. Boxes just kept coming and coming, and I had myself a blast and got to purchase fragrances that were on my wish list. So, Moroccan Oil, let me know down in the comments if you've tried this. And if so, was it a vibe for you? Or did it smell like something you just didn't care for? Some people have described this as smelling like hair grease. Some people have described this as smelling like mineral, having mineral components, and I can sniff that as well. For me, this smells a little bit like an upscale hair salon. And I'm talking about all the aspects of the hair salon. So when you walk into a hair salon that uses products that have a lot of naturals in them, like herbal types of shampoos and things like that, think of like an Aveda salon or something like that. The air smells really like earthy in a good way, herbal, fresh, shampooey, but you also have air in the salon that smells like when you're blow drying hair or curling hair as it warms up, all of that, all of those smells are mixed in together. There's like a humidity in the air, if you will, because of hair drying and those kinds of things. And I feel like this is a combination of both. Perhaps you have hair dyes way in the distance, and the hair dyes have some kind of perfume in them, but there's still like a dye smell. I'm also just kind of fascinated by this at the same time. So when I sprayed this on, at least a couple of times that I tried it so far, and it was just sort of in passing, right? This gave me a tiny bit of like a staler dry down. And I want to say the reason I'm including it is because I have heard people rave about loving this, that it's unique, it's different, it's airy, it's very sort of clean girl smelling, but not in a soapy way, which is why it's in this category. This isn't a laundry type of smell. It's not soapy, it's not musky. It does have these interesting, like shampooey and mineral aspects to it. It smells like hair salon in good ways and in ways that I'm just not sure of. But I wanted to share this for those of you that like the Moroccan oil smell that is in their products. This definitely captures that. I am just on the fence about whether that makes a good perfume or not. I do like the bottle, and I think this is nicely priced. This is sitting out on the Sephora website for $130 for the full 100 ml bottle, which is not that bad, you all, and 98 for the 2-ounce bottle. So again, let me know your thoughts, but let me move on. That was my honorable mention. My scent of the day and the inspiration for this video, please ignore the packaging on this. I don't know why Bond number 9 chose this packaging. This is Central Park South. So the reason that I blind purchased this is because either when I did the bond number 9 overview, I have a whole video dedicated on this, or when I mentioned some bond number 9 somewhere else, I was interacting with one of you in the audience and asked what your favorite bond number 9 is. Oh, you said you either worked at bond number 9 itself or at like a counter at a department store. Whoever you are, please tell us the story in the comments because I didn't screenshot it. I wish I had. But she said that this was one of her favorites. And so I thought, hey, if you have smelled all of the bond number 9s and this is one that you pick, then I'm here for it and I'm ready to try it out. So I got the smaller 1.7-ounce bottle. It has these pink roses on here, but I don't really smell rose in the fragrance at all. So I am on the Bond number 9 site, and what they want you to pick up in the opening, grapefruit flower. So not like grapefruit itself, but the flower part of the fruit, black currant buds, and then the seductive heart note of jasmine and lily of the valley, and then a classic wood note in the base. For me, the effect is a fragrance that smells very airy, light, super fresh. Like this is a very, very fresh fragrance. I don't get soapy aspects here. I mean, I guess perhaps some people could interpret that lily of the valley as being a little bit soapy, but for me, it's fresh, almost in the aldehydic direction. And there are what are called sparkling aldehydes that are different from floral aldehydes and maybe some of the other aldehydes that folks think of when they hear aldehyde. Sparkling aldehydes almost have like this champagne sweet touch to them, sweet, clean touch. And it just kind of works in here. So this, it smells like a fresh garden. So if you're walking by gardens where the white florals have just bloomed, they're not in full bloom where they're giving you the sort of creamy, most heady parts of the, like the narcotic part of the white floral experience. They have just bloomed. They're dewy. There's a bit of a dewiness to this. It's such a fresh floral fragrance with some woodiness in the base and just this light airiness to it that's fun, footloose and fancy free for spring here. When you think about Central Park South, one of the most affluent streets in New York, you may pass by some garden terraces and that kind of thing where it's wafting through the air. I don't know, I'm making this stuff up, you all, as to why this fragrance is associated with Central Park South. I do not care for the fact that they use this graphic on the bottle. I would much have preferred some of the white florals on the bottle. But that aside, lovely, long lasting. Husband enjoys this on me. He told me I smell really good today. So Central Park South. If I had a signature scent, it would be the next one. I probably have like 300 signature scents, but I'm going to say it's this one because people associate this fragrance with me and they have for a while. It was one that I wore just to death, probably in my early 30s. And I've gone through bottle after bottle of it. This bottle is a little beat up and this is still from JLo. It's missing the little like engagement ring trinket thing that goes around the collar. So sorry about that. If you look for this, there's one that has just the print on the back, and then the name Jennifer Lopez is on the back. This one is in cursive, is what I mean, versus just regular. What do you call regular print? What do you call non cursive print? Oh my God, the word is escaping me, but you know what it is. My understanding, and I haven't fact checked myself on this, but that the one that has the cursive version is the original formulation. So this is a little bit older if that is true. This is another fresh, bright, airy fragrance. It has just the right amount of light citrus. There's a tea note that a lot of people pick up. I can't say I pick up a ton of tea, and also a rice note that I don't think is very sort of distinguished in here, or distinguishable rather. An apple note that I think lends some freshness, and a sandalwood base. The net effect of this fragrance is clean, uplifting, fresh, slightly floral. What are the florals? There are a lot of florals here. It says jasmine, lily of the valley, freesia, orange blossom, honeysuckle. That's too much, y'all. It just smells like a nice white floral, simple, fresh accord, similar actually to Central Park South, how the white florals appear in here. You get a little bit of that in still. That fresh, vibrant apple note. This even has a little touch of like a metallic nature to it. It's just an interesting fragrance, hard to describe, and one that's super affordable. You can get a full bottle, $20 to $30 on the gray market. I'll link everything down in the description box for you if you're interested in shopping these. But it's hard to go wrong with this fragrance. I will say many of the people that have tried this fragrance on my recommendation have enjoyed it as like a simple, it's very simple. This is not complex. None of these fragrances are really complex. Maybe one is, but they're just simple, like go to day to day, easy breezy, white t shirt and jeans types of scents. Smells great in the air, gets lots and lots of compliments. Probably, aside from Alien and maybe Amarige, my most complimented fragrance. They're all like neck and neck, but I think Alien's the winner there. I've raved and raved and raved some more about this next fragrance, so I'll take it easy and just tell you really simply about Breathe Me from Mikuela Metsetti. So, did I say I was gonna breeze on by in the description? Because that's what I get from this fragrance, like a fresh breeze. It's intended to smell like seaside at Tuscany. One of the most unique fragrances that I have smelled all year. Breezy, fresh, a little slight hint of like marine saltiness. Don't be afraid of that. Those of you that are intimidated by that and you like recoil, don't be afraid of that. It smells fantastic in here, alongside some citrus, wisteria. There's a beautiful poppy note here. It's so fantastic and so original, and it reminds me of beautiful shampoo with no fruity notes. Like imagine a gorgeous fresh shampoo. Perhaps it has a couple of little herbal touches in it. and a breeze from a lake or an ocean or something. There's some kind of breeze by some water that gets to you, and it's so beautiful. This is lovely. The wisteria note I find to be the prominent floral here. Way deep in the dry down, something like a poppy note comes out, and it is fantastic. Give this one a spritz. There are samples out on ScentSplit if you don't want to, think about purchasing a bottle that you're not familiar with from a brand you're not familiar with. Try a sample. Really, really good. By the way, make sure you get a sample with a sprayer. Those little dabber samples where you have to pull the top off, they're from the devil, I'm sure. They are so horrible to use. You can't really get a good sense of what a fragrance smells like. Get at least the 2 ml dabber. I love this next bottle because it reminds me of one of my favorite fragrance friends in the audience, Jackie in Arkansas. Hey, girl, hey. She has given me so many fantastic recommendations, and we have very similar tastes, she and I. So we just vibe. And she's a friend on the other channel too. If you haven't checked that out, it's Essential Veronica. If you like just chatty, vloggy videos where we talk about makeup and life and home products and everything under the sun over there. It's like a hodgepodge of random topics. Anyway, she recommended to me Omnia Amethyst from Bulgari. I think these are the newer bottles. There used to be a lot more metal on these bottles. They're designed to look like the knots, if I'm not mistaken, in the Bulgari jewelry. And so you pull off the top like that. So I really enjoy exploring this line. I almost put Crystalline, I think is the name, the one in the clear bottle, in this lineup. I probably have like 6 or 7 Bulgari fragrances and have had very many in the past. Great line to check out. Deeply discounted on the gray market if you're interested in exploring an affordable brand. I mean, they weren't always affordable, but man, have they had some super duper hits throughout the years. I've been rocking with Bulgari fragrances and calling it Bvlgari, by the way. Bulgari fragrances, I'm trying to remember to say it right, probably since the last 15 years at least, at least. I love most about this that it is one of the gentlest powdery fragrances I think in my entire collection. A powdery fragrance, if you don't like powder, the powdery aspects can be overwhelming. They can be like omnipresent, take over the entire room if you're not ready for them. I feel like this is just the gentlest, almost like a dense powderiness, but it's very playful and well mannered at the same time. It plays well with everything else in the composition. And so you have heliotrope and iris as the main accompanying notes. Heliotrope can be, that's probably what's giving it the powderiness. I didn't think about that. Heliotrope shows up as like a soft, powdery fragrance. It can sometimes smell a little almondy. Can also have just some other floral types of nuances to it. The iris is very delicate and demure in the fragrance. It all just plays so nicely together. It's like a symphony of beautiful notes that has this cool purpley vibe to it, and I like it. Sometimes purple smelling fragrances can be too deep in the purple direction, like if it's a violent, dominant fragrance, for example. It can be a little bit cold, austere, too linear, too sharp. This is a very pretty girl fragrance, and I love that it has some slight green nuances that come across smelling fresh and airy. This is another very fresh, airy fragrance that smells really, really good in the air. I'm trying to get my husband to like this. He's not so into this, but I like it. I think it's very pretty. I think it's an easy wear, and I think it has enough sort of warmth and pretty girlness to it to set it apart from the other offerings today. Speaking of affordable beauties, this next one, with the exception of what feels like a little bit of a goofy bottle, I'll explain why in a minute. This one really surprised me when I recently retried it. This is from Banana Republic and it's called just W. So this was in my April Fragrance Awards, and I said I don't really love the bottle. It's a little bit clunky and big to handle. It's kind of like hard to handle and it's heavy. And it reminds me of the Aria Hotel in Las Vegas, that kind of curved front. So it gives me that sort of feeling. That, and I don't like the W on there. It's a little bit of a goofy bottle. It's not off-putting enough for me to not enjoy the fragrance itself. The fragrance is one of the most easy breezy, beautiful CoverGirl fragrances. Like, we used to use the term dumb reach in FragCom, meaning you didn't have to think about it. You knew it was going to smell good. It was easy. There's nothing complicated about it. This is clean, crisp white florals, a little bit of musk, and this freshness. This one does perhaps have like a touch, a few drops of like a soapy cleanliness to it. It has a squeaky cleanliness to it, and it is airy and vibrant and fresh and uplifting. You will smell good, guaranteed, every time you put this on. Every single time, it's never gonna fail you. It's always gonna smell wonderful, feminine, fresh, floral, musky, clean, and very airy and bright. This one sits up high in the atmosphere, as I like to say. There are no dense clouds in this fragrance. These are wispy in the sky clouds, and it's so, so fresh. This is a winner, and you can get this fairly inexpensively. I think I got this bottle for $40, $50 for the big 100 mil. I really enjoy this next fragrance, and I think a lot of you do too. And some of you are just disappointed with the lack of oomph and maybe the lack of longevity. And I was like that at first too. And I took a chance and actually purchased a bottle. This is from Vilhelm Parfumerie, and it's called Focus for me, Sparkling Joe, named after Josephine Baker. And people love it for this bright, fizzy champagne note in the opening. There's also citrus and pear, and both the citrus and the pear are very, to me, subdued. They are not really prominent, overt players. They're sort of demure and in the background. The champagne is prominent in the beginning. Then in the middle, those other notes start to come through, and you also get a significant dose of a very airy, bright, happy musk. So the fragrance for me, in terms of the longevity and experience, it's somewhere in like the 3-ish to 4-ish hour range, and it's a pricey fragrance for that, so I understand that. However, it really grew on me as this fresh, bubbly, effervescent, happy, bright, airy fragrance that I think is lovely for this time of year, particularly as we head into the deeper part of the spring and more heat. This might be one that's great for really high heat, that sort of scorching temperature that just gets unbearable, and you just want something fresh and bright and pretty. Sparkling Joe might be a good option for that. There's also a ginger note, a champaca note, some woodiness in the base, but primarily the champagne, a little bit of pear and citrus, and then that nice musky base. Very interesting fragrance. So the next one is from Le Labo, Another 13, maybe one of the priciest fragrances in the lineup. Well, there's another one that's more pricey at retail that's coming up next, but it's often on sale. So I had a hard time with this fragrance at first. I didn't really smell it when I first tried it. I was like, what is everybody raving about with this dang Another 13? And why is it called Another 13? There's a history behind Another 13. Has something to do with a magazine name, and I don't remember the details. You can go look it up on the website. But there's a reason for the name. And then one day I tried a travel spray of it, and it hit. And I was like, oh, I get it. I get the hype behind Another 13. So fresh, so airy. It smells like pretty girl pencil shavings. There are some pencil shaving fragrances that really just smell woody. I mean, that's what you're gonna get, like clean hamster, bedding woodiness. This one has a musky, clean edge to it, but it doesn't smell soapy at all. It does smell like molecular notes, like those ambroxan notes and things like that. Primarily iso e super and musk, and it has a bit of an edge to it in a pretty way. A pretty way. I know there are some fruity notes in the fragrance that may give it that sort of gentle edge, but I just think this is so good. It smells good on everyone in this house. I have sprayed it on my husband, I've sprayed it on our kids, on myself. We all smell fabulous with this on. It smells great in the air, and I think it's super duper delightful. And you don't need a whole lot. I mean, you can spray yourself down with this if you want to. I don't think you're gonna like overwhelm a room. It never gets to like powerhouse status. This is like a scent bubble that stays close to you, at least in my experience. But people will smell it on you close by when they're in your bubble, and you will smell slightly like mysteriously clean and airy. Clean and airy. So beautiful fragrance. Another 13. You all, I'm seriously considering going back to Disney World and Universal this summer. It is my favorite place to vacation. I mean, if you gave me an option to go around the world, any exotic location, any luxurious vacation, or to go to Disney and Universal, I'm probably going to go see the mouse and his little girlfriend, Minnie. So this is the 100th anniversary Disney 100th anniversary edition of Minnie Mouse from House of Sillage. The other Minnie that they released alongside Mickey Mouse in the red and black bottle. That one is more raspberry and vanilla, if I'm not mistaken, and is really, really good. A little bit more sort of on the sweet gourmand side. This one is very airy and fresh and bright and slightly fruity for summertime. Now, I will say about this fragrance, this isn't a huge projector, doesn't have the best longevity. This is about a half a day fragrance at the most, and it sits fairly close to the skin. So I want to make sure you are aware of that. But if you are a Disney fanatic, hold on, let me take a second, Franz. Look at the Epcot top on it. So this is designed to look like the ride Spaceship Earth that's at the front of Epcot Center, which is one of my favorite nostalgic memories of being a kid and going to Epcot Center. early on in my life. Like I have just great memories. These bottles are just fantastic with the inside, having details on them, this glass with the ombre effect. This is fruity and violet to me, like violet irisy, that kind of combo. It's apple and I believe there's strawberry and some other sort of like springtime fruits. And there's also some white florals. So all in all, for me, this feels like a cool, like, in terms of the scent experience versus a warm fragrance, like the regular mini is a warm fragrance. This one has a little bit more of cool, aloof edges to it, violet and some fruity notes. Apple and strawberry come to mind the most. I understand this fragrance more as I wear it and sniff it more, and I really enjoy this. A very gentle, musky base to this, and this is just really good if that kind of thing appeals to you. Cool and fruity at the same time. Far from a gourmand, what you think about sticky, ooey gooey, dessert kind of thing. Not desserty at all. This is fresh and airy and bright and light. Really nice. In fact, this one smells quite shampooey to me. Quite shampooey. And then this next one, maybe it doesn't belong in this video, but it does have an aspect of it that feels very airy and bright to a lot of people. And I think that's part of the reason some people don't enjoy it, but it's the part of the fragrance that I actually enjoy the most. So this is Gucci Flora Gorgeous Orchid in the yellow bottle. And it's very like simple in some ways, but for me, it's also the most complex of all the fragrances that I'm talking about in that it's an unusual combination of a deeper vanilla base along with ozonic airy notes, and it also has a like an orchid flower note. Some people smell banana. I can understand that more now than when I first got the fragrance. As this matures more, I get a sort of like a perfumey banana note. It doesn't smell like the fruit itself. But that ozonic nature to this adds this level of airy freshness and brightness that reminds me of a bright blue sky on a cloudless day. And I probably have that association because I wore this on such a day in the fall when it was crisp. It was the kind of weather that you first enjoy also in the spring, like those 70-degree days when it starts to warm up between 70 and 80 degrees. It was that kind of day in the fall. You get those kind of days in the spring. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. It was a very fresh day. Like there wasn't a lot of humidity in the air. It was crisp, it was bright, and we had a long drive out in the Virginia mountains and I just loved it. I was wearing this fragrance. Everyone in the car could smell it and they all loved it. So it's airy and bright. There's like a fluffy cloud-like nature to this, but it has the depth from the vanilla and a bit of a floral touch, and it's just fantastic and unique. And I adore this in ways that I didn't expect to when I first tried it. I liked it when I first tried it. And as I wear it more and sniff it more, I'm like, you are unique, a unique offering on the market. And it does give you both clean and girly and fresh and airy feelings, all of those things all together. So I really, really like this. Let me know if you've gotten a chance to get to know this, if you wrote it off, when you first tried it and was like, this isn't for me, or if you've tried it a lot and you just still can't get with it, it's not for you. It's all okay. We're allowed to all have different tastes. I hope that I have presented you with enough variety here to maybe explore one or two of these fragrances and see what you think. Let me know your thoughts on this lineup. I'd be curious to hear. Thank you for hanging out with me. Go out and smell fresh, clean, airy, and pretty. Take care.